You wake up, and they are already there. An ex who broke your heart, or a crush who doesn't even know you're looking. This relentless cycle of intrusive thoughts is mentally draining, leaving you trapped in a mental web that feels impossible to escape. To break that loop, we are executing the Obsession Detox Protocol. This is a specific, action-oriented plan designed to untangle those thoughts and help you regain your peace of mind through psychology-backed strategies. By following these steps, you will transition from a state of fixation to a state of control, specifically through a protected digital environment, a rewired thought pattern, and a daily routine that shifts your focus back to yourself. To complete this exercise, you will need a notebook, a pen, and your smartphone. You must also be ready to take a few immediate, uncomfortable actions to change your current environment. Waiting for these feelings to fade on their own rarely works. Recovery requires structured, deliberate interventions in both your physical space and your psychological habits to force a mental reset. Open your notebook. List every verifiable, objective fact you actually know about this person. Not how you feel about them or what you hope they are like, just the raw data of their actual behavior and history. When we obsess, we tend to fill in the gaps of a person's character with our own desires. Realistically, the facts you just wrote down represent a tiny fraction of who they are. In many cases, reality only makes up about 10% of your total perception. Now, write down the potential you see in them and the future scenarios you've replayed in your head. This is the remaining 90%, a fantasy built from your own imagination. You aren't obsessed with a person, you are obsessed with a character you've created to inhabit their body. Look closely at that fantasy. Write down the specific internal need it tries to satisfy. Are you using this person to provide the validation, acceptance, or sense of belonging that you feel you lack on your own? This exercise reveals that the obsession is an illusion. By recognizing that you are longing for a fantasy to fulfill unmet internal needs, you can stop chasing the person and start addressing the underlying insecurity instead. To manage the thoughts that remain, you need an immediate pattern interrupt. Choose one tactile grounding activity right now, something like painting, maybe journaling, running, or playing an instrument. When an intrusive thought about them appears, acknowledge it without judgment and immediately guide your attention back to your chosen activity. This refocusing prevents the thought from spiraling into a compulsive loop. Now we must address your triggers. Pick up your smartphone. We are going to execute a digital detox to stop your brain from receiving the dopamine hits that reinforce the obsession. Find their social media profiles and hit unfollow. Muting is not enough. You need to remove the automated path to their life to stop the compulsive urge to check in on them. Go to your messaging apps and archive or delete your old text threads. This eliminates the temptation to reread past conversations and prevents you from reliving a version of the relationship that no longer exists. Set a firm boundary for your social life. Stop bringing their name up in conversation. If you don't talk about them, you stop reinforcing their importance in your daily narrative. Your brain cannot break an addiction cycle while it is constantly being fed the very triggers that started it. A clean digital and physical environment is a mandatory prerequisite for psychological healing. Return to your notebook and draft a daily self-care routine. Schedule specific times for activities that bring you personal joy and include a set of positive affirmations regarding your own worth. By consistently showing up for yourself through these activities, you begin to anchor your happiness to your own actions. This process shifts the source of your validation from an external person to your own internal routine. You must also abandon the search for closure. Accept that you may never get the answers or the final conversation you want. Waiting for the other person to provide an explanation only keeps you tied to them. Reroute that energy toward people who actually support you. Text a friend, a family member, or a therapist right now to set up a time to talk. Activating this safety net reminds you that you aren't overcoming this alone. Accepting reality as it is, without demanding closure, and leaning on a healthy support system establishes a firm barrier against the impulses of the obsession. Look at your phone and your notebook. You have transitioned from passive obsession to active management. You now have a detoxed digital space, a grounding plan for your thoughts, and an activated support system. Uncertainty is a natural part of life. While you may still feel the pull of old habits, you now have the internal strength to maintain these new, healthy boundaries and choose your own peace of mind. Have you used any of these strategies to move on? Or do you have a detox tip of your own? Share your insights in the comments below to help others in the community. Moving on is a daily choice. If this guide helped you gain a new perspective, subscribe to our channel and like the video.